Good evening, YouTube. DutyRon back again with another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon. I want to say a special thank you to all of my Patreon supporters, the channel members, and everybody who positively interacts in this community while we go live, when we upload videos, and when we talk about these sensitive cases. Guys, my name is DutyRon, retired New York City police detective. I have 20 plus years of law enforcement in the largest police department in the United States, the New York City Police Department. And tonight we're going to get into a case about a spring break vacation gone wrong. We're talking about what I spoke about earlier, the Christine Englehardt murder down in Miami in South Beach on March 18th of this year, just a day after St. Patrick's Day. I just want to say a hello and a special thank you to my channel members and everybody who are piling on in. Thank you to the moderators and everyone who subscribes to this great community. I am deeply indebted to all of you. Hello, Tim. Hello, Diane. Thank you for hanging out in the lobby before the live went. Hello, Navy Vet. Good evening. Good to see you. I like to say hello to all of my great friends. Heidi Lee is here. I got it right. Heidi Lee. Hello, Lady Montgomery. Good to see you. Outlandish. Leanne is here. Matty Boy Sully. Just waiting for the director of security to arrive. There he is, Joey Brooklyn. Good to see you, Joe. Thank you for joining. This is a difficult case, to say the least. I'm going to take a legal expert. I'm going to bring in a legal expert on this case, a criminal defense attorney, to discuss the potential for capital punishment. This is a case that could potentially bring capital punishment to the perpetrators in this crime. And I got to tell you, just a difficult at best case to discuss as a retired law enforcement professional, but as a parent, as a father to two children, two grown men now. Good to see you, Jimmy Bodner, over from New Hyde Park, but now I believe over in California doing some police work in Beverly Hills. Correct me if I'm wrong, or somewhere around there. So good to see you, Jimmy Bodner. Thank you for joining on Facebook. This case is just, again, if you suffer from PTSD or anything like that, maybe this might not be one for you to listen to. But this is a horrific crime committed by two perpetrators from outside of the Miami area. They reside in Georgia, actually North Carolina, I believe it was. Perp number one, Avory Collier, 21 years old, no criminal history. Perp number two, Dorian Taylor, 24 years old. From what I've uncovered, a criminal history that ranges from robbery to armed robbery. So quite a few crimes under his belt, and we're going to get into it right now. Guys, if you're not subscribed or you haven't hit that thumbs up, please consider giving it a thumbs up, sharing out the video. Again, I'm going to show you some media tonight to give you an overview. For those of you who are outside the country, I want to give you an overview and let you guys see a little bit of the press coverage. This is an unfortunate case because it involves a female white and two male black perpetrators, two young male black perpetrators. And the media, the coverage from Channel 6 South Florida has been pretty limited. And the coverage in Pennsylvania, in her hometown, which was Richboro, Pennsylvania, Bucks County, is, they've done some coverage, but it seems to just be limited. And our mainstream media is picking and choosing again the conversations that they want to have. And my heart breaks for the families. So without further ado, I want to just give you guys a little bit of background so you could see the horror of what happened on March 18th. So let me set this up for you. I'm challenged when it comes to media. So Let me set it up so the challenge could be over. All right, here we go. I think I got it. There we go.
Two men from out of town accused of drug. In the midst of all the chaos, a horrible case out of Miami Beach. Two men from out of town accused of drugging and raping a woman, and she later died in a hotel room. NBC6 reporter Alyssa Hyman is live in Miami Beach with the disturbing allegations. Alyssa?
Yeah, just a horrifying situation. And according to what came out in court today, we learned that one of the defendants admitted that they gave the victim a green pill. And while we're still waiting for toxicology and cause of death to be released, detectives and prosecutors say it was clear the victim couldn't have consented. Two North Carolina men arrested over the weekend in Miami Beach, accused of drugging and sexually assaulting.
All right, that's the face of evil right there. The 24-year-old. On your left, perp number 2, Dorian Taylor. The younger, Ivory Collier, both from the North Carolina area. They're charged with burglary, assault or battery, sexual battery, credit card fraud, and petty larceny. Charges will be upgraded when toxicology, when the medical examiner comes back with the report on the tox to see what they poisoned her with and if in fact it contributed to her death, which I'm certain it did.
Assaulting a young woman who later died in a arrested over the weekend in Miami Beach, accused of drugging and sexually assaulting a young woman who later died in a South Beach hotel room. The judge addressing the seriousness of the allegations in bond court Monday.
The victim, I should say, couldn't even pick up a phone to call the police or 911 after they did whatever they did to her.
The victim.
So that was the judge inside the courtroom during the arraignment of both of these savages.
Christine Englehardt also appears to be from out of town. A friend tagged her page saying, "I can't believe I didn't get to say goodbye." According to detectives, 21-year-old Ivory Collier and 24-year-old Dorian Taylor were seen on surveillance video walking with the victim into the hotel. Adding the video made it clear the victim was intoxicated or drugged and unable to give consent.
She was actually staggering a little bit. And at one point, co-defendant Taylor held her behind her or on her neck to basically keep her stable.
The detective.
Okay, that's the detective testifying, Miami Beach detective. I can only make out his first name, Lewis, and it's like his last name is something. I couldn't make it out there. But that's the detective on the case. He was, at the judge's request, asked to call in to clarify what kind of evidence he had. So he basically described what these two did and the state of the victim. And she was obviously not in any condition to give consent for sexual activity, which we'll go on to hear that they sexually assaulted her numerous times during the course of her unconsciousness or death.
The detective told the judge one of the defendants admitted they had sex with her, and once she was unconscious, the detective said they stole her phone, credit cards, and cash.
Did they ever try and call for assistance with her, call 911 to try and get her help?
No, ma'am.
The younger defendant's sister spoke at Monday's hearing, saying her brother has never been in trouble before.
Now you have to hear this. This is the younger brother's legal guardian. I don't think it's his sister. May be the sister, but she said she was his legal guardian after his mom passed away. But you got to hear what this plea sounds like. You know, she's well aware of what her guardian is, what her brother is accused of. And it just made my stomach turn when I heard her say what she said. So just listen up. This is her talking.
Severely, but
Monday's hearing, saying her brother has never been in trouble before.
I'm severely bewildered by these charges and accusations against him, but I can attest for his character. and I can attest for responsibility of him standing trial for whatever charges. If you would just please let my brother come home.
And from the victim's Facebook page, I was able to see where she worked, and I was able to get in touch with some of her co-workers out in Pennsylvania. They were completely shocked and distraught by what happened in some of these allegations. And we also spoke to her father over the phone, understandably too upset to talk about what happened. But he did say that she had come down to Florida alone and that he was aware of the arrests. For now, we're...
Yeah. So just gut-wrenching to hear you know, the lack of remorse from his side. Of course, they're going to defend their family member, but yeah, this is a horrific crime that they're accused of. And I'm going to play for you here another piece of another piece so you guys can understand the severity of what went on here and how vicious this intentional attack was on this young girl, Christine Englehardt. She didn't stand a chance against these guys. They intentionally drugged her and walked her under their control back to her hotel and proceeded to rape, rob her, and leave her there for dead. And as the judge said, you didn't even call 911. You didn't even attempt to call 911. So let me just pull up. I want to pull up the hearing. It's kind of long, but I think you guys should hear this judge in the hearing. I'll try to move it along. Hold on a second.
NBC6's Claudia Docan.
Okay, this is just a little different. I just want you guys to hear this quickly, and then we'll switch back over. Give me a second. It's disturbing, to say the least.
Sexually assaulting a Pennsylvania tourist who later died, pled not guilty to the charges against him. His attorney also filed a motion in court to keep the media from having access to court files. NBC6's Claudia Docampo explains.
Attorneys for 21-year-old Evoir Collier have filed a motion to suppress the state's information, including a so-called confession by the defendant. NBC6 will be involved in challenging the motion.
I would also ask that the state not comply with any Chapter 119 requests, which I think is a 30-day period anyway.
Collier and 24-year-old Dorian Taylor, both from North Carolina, were in South Beach during spring break. The victim, 24-year-old Christine Englehardt from Pennsylvania, was also here for a spring break. Prosecutors say Collier and Taylor drugged and raped Englehardt after meeting her and then stole her credit cards. Englehardt later died in her room at the Albion Hotel in South Beach.
The victim was in no condition, even upon entering the hotel room. She was clearly inebriated.
She believed that she was either intoxicated or drugged, and she could not give consent.
Collier's attorney entered a not guilty plea to the charge.
Okay, so these are the defense attorneys. It's standard. I talked to Bill Cannon and a couple of seasoned homicide detectives. It's standard for defense attorneys to try to suppress evidence. They want to suppress anything that's going to, beyond a reasonable doubt, prove guilt to their client, because that's their job. They want to suppress the statement that the 21-year-old perpetrator, Evoir Collier, made. He made statements to the detective that the person he was with, Dorian Taylor, the 24-year-old, in fact, used the green pill to drug the victim, Christine. They want to suppress that statement, and they also want to suppress the video evidence. This is standard. This is a standard try that will probably not be granted. 411 now. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Appreciate that. Thank you. He says, DutyRon, good evening, sir. Hello. I hope all is well with everyone. Thank you, Will, for coming on in. All right. So again, thank you to anyone who super chats. I greatly appreciate that. This woman here on the screen is the defense attorney for Evoir Collier. and she is looking to suppress. That means to withdraw her client's statement that he made probably after receiving Miranda. I hope everything was done perfectly, and the Miami Beach detectives dotted their I's and crossed their T's in this case, because if he wasn't Mirandaized, there could be a chance that his statements could be withdrawn. But the security camera evidence inside the restaurant where they these two kind of did whatever they did, however they friended her or started conversating with her, that all of that video surveillance will be evidence, and then the video surveillance of them walking out of that location, and then the hotel surveillance will all be I would say there's a 99.999999% that chance that that evidence will not be suppressed. Again, any good defense attorney, this is what they're required to do for their clients. So let's let the rest of this play. There's not much more.
Charges he's facing, and Taylor is scheduled to be arraigned.
Hotel room. She was clearly inebriated.
She believed that she was either intoxicated or drugged.
That's the detective.
She could not give consent.
Collier's attorney entered a not guilty plea to the charges he's facing, and Taylor is scheduled to be arraigned on the charges next Monday. They both remain behind bars without bond pending their trials.
Okay, so I got to take these off. I don't want you guys to look at that. Again, thank you to everyone joining in. Let's do a quick roll call. I know that we always like to do a roll call. Let me know where you're watching from, city and state. And also after that, we will do a quick sound check to make sure everything is good. Everybody's hearing me well. I know that the audio is coming through nicely in my ears. But let me know where you're watching, city, state, or country, and we will say hello. JD from the United Kingdom, Los Angeles, California, checking in. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Houston, Texas, says Kathy Robinson. Gayla is saying hello to 411 now. Thank you. And I will queue up the next piece of media I want to show you guys. Let me just take a quick peek at the chat. Roxanne, good to see you. Thank you. Somi from Portland, Oregon. Good to see you, Somi. Hello from California, Marie. Linda from Fornskin, California. Thank you for joining. I want to show you quickly, too, after we do the roll call, the arrest of the younger perpetrator. What makes this even more insulting, what makes it more insulting, 411 now, checking in from the great state of Washington. Good to see you. British Columbia, Canada. Joey, Brooklyn is from Brooklyn. Amber, welcome in from Canada. Wendy is checking in from Canada. Thank you. Saskatchewan, Canada, says Karen, Canada. Wow. Hello, Kat. Good to see you, Kat. Love and respect from my house to yours. Victoria, Australia. Put another prawn on the Barbie. Thank you for joining. Hello from Cedar Falls, Iowa. Louisiana, Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Okay, let's jump back into it. Let's jump right back into it. Hello, Tim from Bakersfield. My heart and prayers go out to the residents of Bakersfield. You guys are suffering with lots of shootings over in Bakersfield. I'm up to date on all the news. And the two missing boys, Orrin and Orson West from Bakersfield, California. Hello from Cranford, New Jersey. Victoria, British Columbia, says Miss Justice. Thank you so much for joining. All right, let me go full screen.
And now to new video showing their arrest of one of two men.
Hold on, young lady. Hold your horses. DutyRon's an old man. It takes him a little time to catch up. All right, here we go. This is watch here. Let me give you a quick cursor. In this general area, I don't know if you guys can see it, but right below the credit of Mitch Novick, right here, police officers move in. They're right over here. The police officers, they move in on this perpetrator. This is perpetrator number one, Ivor Collier, the younger one, 2 days after they sexually assaulted, drugged, robbed, and raped, and effectively killed Christine Englehardt in the streets in Miami, partying with her credit cards in their possession and her wallet and her cell phone. They had all of her property. and it was all recovered from these perpetrators, including the green pills that they used to drug her. So this is going to be a very strong case against these two savage beasts. These are subhuman, evil. It takes a real evil person to do something like this.
And now to new video showing their arrest of one of two men accused of drugging and raping a woman who was later found dead.
A heartbreaking story that
Accused of drugging. Arrest of one of two men accused of drugging and raping a woman who was later found dead.
A heartbreaking story that shocked people not only here in South Florida, but across the country as well.
NBC6 reporter Carolina Peguera is live in Miami Beach with more details on this new evidence this morning.
Good morning, guys. Well, that video shows several Miami Beach police officers making that arrest of one of the suspects in this horrific case. As well comes to light new images and photos of both men enjoying their day in Miami Beach, and they're vacationing just a day after the alleged crime. Now, new emerging video shows the arrest of one of the men from North Carolina accused of drugging and raping Christine Englehardt, who later died in a South Beach hotel room. According to detectives, 21-year-old Evior Collier and 24-year-old Dorian Taylor were seen on.
Okay, the younger of the two, that's who that's who they had on the ground.
24-year-old Dorian.
It was this this perpetrator right here. I can't even say gentleman. I can't say person. It was this perp right here that they caught, and he was wearing the same clothing that was in the hotel surveillance and the restaurant surveillance video. So he was wearing the same pants. I'm certain that those clothes were taken to the lab for DNA as well to, solidify this case. This case is a very strong case against both of these guys, and they, under Florida law, we're going to have an attorney come in on my next live stream and give you guys some of the possibilities here. I'm not an expert at capital punishment in Florida. There is some extreme circumstances, and there's some, there's some parts of this type of crime that could fit in to a capital punishment sentence or charges. So let's see the rest of this, and then we'll go from here.
Taylor were seen on surveillance video walking with the victim into the hotel, saying video shows that the victim was intoxicated or drugged, is unable to give consent. In Monday's hearing, though, we learned one of the defendants admitted they gave the victim a green pill and they had sex with her. And once she was unconscious, the detectives said they stole her phone, credit cards, and cash. And then another photo coming to light showing what appears.
This is them days, I think a day or two later, partying next to another young girl walking in the street. Here's perp number one, the younger, on your right on the far right below the number 6, right above number 6, and then the second perpetrator with the criminal history, the 24-year-old, just partying along like nothing happened.
Appears to be the defendants continuing their vacation in the day after the alleged crime. We spoke to a woman who was in that picture, and she also saw the men. Let's see what she has to say.
To just do that, and then just to continue to stay in the area, and even and also using her credit.
Yes, Paisley, they did rape her, and those are the charges that they're going to be charged with. John, good to see you. Thing one, thank you so much for being in here, and thank you everyone for your kind words. Again, we never know who's going to be watching these replays, so again, our respect and our thoughts, or my words that I use, are not because I'm trying to be to sugarcoat it, but I'm trying to I'm aware of that. Some family members might view this video, and I'm trying to be as respectful as I can. So I hope you guys understand that as well.
Information and things like that's just sickening for them to, just be, and also using her credit information and things like that. That's just sickening. For them to, just be out and still vacationing is what was just blew my mind. I was always pretty cautious, but now it's just like, it just makes it scary. Like it just adds fear to it.
Well, this is an eye opener for all females, young, middle-aged, and elder, to always be careful of your surroundings. Never take a drink from somebody that you haven't seen the drink poured right in front of you. Never take a drink from a stranger. I mean, there's so much that we can talk about about this. They drugged her, they raped her, and they robbed her, and she was left to die in the hotel room. So these two perpetrators are looking at substantial jail time. They should never be able to see the light of day again. They don't deserve to walk the face of the earth. And in my opinion, they don't deserve to breathe the same air that we all breathe, because anybody that commits such a heinous crime like this does not deserve to get 3 square meals a day, health care, and be able to work out and go to a library and read books and all the things that are afforded to inmates that are in prison for heinous crimes as such. And that's my opinion on that. As a parent, as a police officer, as a detective, these are the people we despise. These are the people that we go out and seek to bring to justice. And these two perpetrators, these two savages, these two scum of the earth deserve to be to not have another good day for the rest of their lives as punishment for what they did. And Christine was an only child, so her mom and dad, albeit it wouldn't matter if they had 10 kids or 5 kids or 3 kids, this is their only child, and it hurts that much more. And my heart breaks for any crime victim. And there's so many different scenarios that could have happened here and that could have went down, but it's not our job to guess at what happened. It's the jobs of the detectives and the district attorney's office to put together a strong case and take the evidence that's afforded to them and charge these two evil monsters and put them away and let the punishment come down as such. And that's written in the state of Florida. Let's let the rest of this play. It's only a couple more minutes.
Now, the woman in that photo, Deasia, she says that she does not know the men. Her sister actually took that photo of them, and once she found out about this, she contacted police. Now, they have not released the cause of death of the victim, and as of now, the defendants are not facing any charges relating to her crime, but that may change later on.
Okay, so this reporter didn't get it right. Good to see you, Ryan, Investigative Group. Good to see you, my good friend. Thank you for joining, Bill. They destroyed the family. Absolutely, there's no question. The murder charges, the charges for her demise, will not come forward until the autopsy results are complete. And we're going to hear from Chief of Staff of the New York City Medical Examiner, hopefully in the near future, Barbara Butcher. She was on this channel to talk about the Tammy Daybell autopsy. I'm gonna talk with Barbara. If I can't get her to come on, if she's too busy to make an appearance, I will talk to her about this case on the phone, and I will ask her the tough questions. The questions of what will come from an autopsy? What will we know when the autopsy results are back? Will the detectives be able to release the autopsy results because there's a pending investigation? Will we just find in court the charges to be upgraded? Thing one, thank you for becoming a member. will we just find the charges being upgraded and never hearing the results of the autopsy? But these are the things that we'll ask. We'll ask the tough questions. I will get with Sergeant Bill Cannon, a Manhattan North 27-year veteran of the homicide squad. I've already talked to Bill today about this briefly, but we'll get his take on it. And I'm going to have Phil Grimaldi, a 22-year veteran of the NYPD, join me on this case, and we'll talk about it. He spent many years in the 6-0 squad, has investigated numerous homicides, and worked in the intel division. So we're going to have him join in. I'm going to talk to Ryan Investigates about this. We're going to do a series on this, and we're going to cover this case. I'm hoping that we can share this out onto social media platforms so we can get Christine's story and bring her justice and bring it out in the nationwide, and if not worldwide, now that we have people chiming in here from Australia, the United Kingdom, and all over the world. So we're going to try to get her story out there, because our mainstream fake news media decided that because it's a white female and 2 male blacks, that it is not something that's, good for them to put out. If the script was flipped and we had a reverse role, we would have a whole different story. And I don't want to get into that here. I don't want to go into that, but I had to mention it because it is true. This is the situation. This is the world that we're living in. If that was a black female and 2 white perpetrators, we would have civil unrest. We'd have Al Sharpton and the national network out there jumping up and down. But what do we have here? We have very limited coverage. Missy, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. And let me just highlight that real quick. Thank you so much for that. And thank you to the new channel member, Lisa Bevan. Thank you for becoming a YouTube member. I appreciate that. And that was Lisa, who's the new other Thing One. Thank you for becoming a new member as well. I'm going to try to find it. There it is. Thing One. Thank you and welcome to the DutyRon family. Thank you for being here. It's a shame that I even have to bring that up, but I have to bring it up because it's ever present and in our face. This is a heinous crime that should be all over the nightly news, and World News Tonight should have a coverage on this, but they don't. Hey, Joshua, thank you for becoming a member. Why did it take you so long? I'm only kidding. Thank you for renewing your membership. Thank you, Josh. So that's my producer right there, Joshua H. Let's get to the next piece of media. I want to show you some, before we wrap it up, I want to show the capital punishment for, hold on a second. Hold on, let me just see something here. I'm not sure you guys really want to see I don't think you want to see that courtroom thing. It's kind of boring. The courtroom thing. It's 10 minutes. It's too long. You guys can go see it. I'll put a link down below to it. But I think that would be a little too much. Let's look at the Florida. Why did I do that? All right, let's look at the Florida capital punishment. All right, I'm going to put this up. Thank you, Joey Brooklyn. Appreciate you being here. All right, let me just put this up. All right, this is from Ralph Baer attorney's website. I'm giving him some free. I'm giving him some free exposure. So conviction of a capital felony means the sentence imposed can be life imprisonment or death. In Florida, capital felonies include murder, capital drug trafficking, armed kidnapping. And if it could be proved that these guys were armed, they did, in fact, in my eyes, kidnap her because they took her and she couldn't give consent to go with them. So they did kind of take her, but it would have to be armed kidnapping. So that would be hard to prove if they were armed. and some felony crimes when there are death or sexual components. There's definitely a sexual component to the felony charge in this case. So right here is capital punishment in the state of Florida if a felony has sexual components to the charge. And there certainly is a sexual component to this charge. Sherry, thank you so much for becoming a member. Much love and respect to you. I appreciate that. Hello, EMT623. Always great to see you. And look at that lovely profile picture. Such lovely flowers there. Thank you. All right, so the felony component right here is something that we'll talk to our criminal defense attorney who's going to be joining us. And no, it's not Scott Reich, but it's going to be one of my good friends that I met through Sergeant Bill Cannon. A list of capital felonies in Florida can be obtained by calling your South Florida criminal defense attorney. That's just a little plug for him. A conviction for murder, armed drug trafficking, and other capital offenses requires a separate sentencing proceeding in which the jury will consider aggravating factors and mitigating factors and deliberate on the issue of imposing the death sentence. So Florida does have capital punishment, which is good news here for the family. We need justice for this family. I think you'll all agree we need justice for this family. Let's look at this one. Judge orders no bond. Just want to see what this is real quick.
Behind bars, facing several charges after police responded to a call of an unconscious woman in a Miami Beach hotel room. That woman was pronounced dead. Police say surveillance video led them to those men. They're now charged with sexually assaulting and robbing her. CBS 4's Joan Murray joins us with what we're learning in this case.
The victim, Christine Englehardt, was staying at this South Beach hotel just a couple of blocks from the beach. Police say she is seen on surveillance with the two men who are in jail accused of robbing and sexually assaulting her. Friends say 24-year-old Christine Englehardt always had.
What a shame. This is a picture of her by her Christmas tree. And if you go to her Facebook page, you can see these pictures, and her parents, her mom has a Facebook page. Her mom's obviously distraught over this, and rightfully so. But yeah, what an infectious smile, and from all accounts, a sweet, sweet person.
A smile and a giving heart. She traveled to Miami Beach from her home near Philadelphia for vacation. Last Thursday, police found her partially clothed, lifeless body on the bed inside her room at the Albion Hotel.
Good afternoon, Mr. Taylor.
Police arrested two men. They've charged with sexually assaulting Englehardt and stealing her belongings. 24-year-old Dorian Taylor and 21-year-old Evoir Collier, both visiting from North Carolina, were picked up days later on South Beach. Police say the two met the victim at a restaurant and are seen on surveillance with her returning to the hotel early Thursday. Englehardt was staggering, and a detective told the judge Taylor had to hold her up.
You see on video surveillance that this defendant was holding her from behind her, holding by the neck, so she would stand still, because obviously she was intoxicated or drugged.
Police say the men gave.
I don't know if you guys caught that, but that's the second perp. This is the guy with the tattoos on his neck right here. When I'm going to put it back, when the detective was saying that he was holding her by the neck, he made a gesture of like, what are you talking about? Like, in such typical fashion of a criminal like that, a savage criminal like that is going to deny this stuff that they have on videotape, for crying out loud. It's just ridiculous.
Her a green pill, had to hold her up.
You see on video surveillance.
Watch him here.
That this defendant was holding her from behind her, holding by the neck, so she would stand still, because obviously she was intoxicated or drugged.
Police say the men gave her a green pill that might be Percocet, a strong painkiller.
Coincidentally, the green pills were recovered from perp number 2, the one with the tattoos on his neck, Dorian Taylor. Those green pills were recovered when he was arrested. after this crime was committed. Florida Pete, great to see you. Everyone follow Florida Pete. Yeah, you guys saw his face, right? Like he was like, "What are you talking about? I didn't do that." Out of here.
Once she was passed out, they actually remained inside the apartment, sorry, the hotel unit, and they took property which belonged to her, which included cell phone, credit cards, and cash.
He couldn't deny that because they removed it from their person. Good to see you, Rupal. Thank you so much for joining. Great to see you. 411 now. Thank you for hanging out. Will, always a pleasure to have you. I had a fun time in Will 411 Now's live stream. He did some trivia and some cool stuff on a live stream. Real casual, real chill. I had a great time. So thank you for that the other night over in your studio. So that was great to catch you. Everyone subscribe and check out 411 Now. My good friend Florida Pete, Donna over at Azul Yogurt, Joey Brooklyn. Definitely subscribe and check him out. DJ Beats, good to see you. Abraham, thank you for joining. Let's let the rest of this go.
Police say they have surveillance of Taylor using a stolen credit card,
which included cell phone, credit cards, and cash.
Police say they have surveillance of Taylor using a stolen credit card on South Beach. And according to the arrest report, Collier was later spotted on South Beach wearing the same pants seen from the hotel video.
Yeah, I said that to you guys before. So that's the 61. That's the police report. He was wearing the same pants from the crime scene day. I'm sure they took those pants and got quite a bit of DNA evidence that will be used against them in the court of law, which is fantastic. But it just goes to show you how thug-like these guys are. He's still wearing the same pants that he committed a murder with a day or two before. It's just sickening on so many different levels.
Collier's sister told the judge he's never been in trouble before, but the judge ordered both men held with no bond.
The victim couldn't even pick up a phone to call a police or 911 after they did whatever they did to her.
Back in Pennsylvania, Englehardt's family and friends are in deep shock and grieving, posting on social media messages.
What a sin. What a shame. We're going to keep this case alive by talking about it. I encourage everyone to share this video onto your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, all of your accounts. Share her face. I am going to do hashtag justice for Christine Englehardt. I'm going to put that hashtag down below. If you guys can put some hearts and some prayer emojis in the chat for Christine Englehardt and her family, may God rest. May God keep her in the palm of his hands and let her rest in peace. And may God bring strength to the Englehardt family, her mom and her dad and any of her cousins and other extended family and friends and the folks that she worked with at the pizza shop over in Pennsylvania. Prayer emojis and hearts for Christine. Thank you, Rupal. Thank you, Shelley. Thank you. I'll highlight some of those. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Wilma, Jackie. Billy, it was not the first rodeo for perp number 2. Dorian Taylor has got a couple of armed robberies under his belt. So he was not living right. That's for sure. Yes, Robert, poor family, says Robert 123. Thank you for being in here. I'm just highlighting some of these. Jennifer, good to see you. Thank you for joining. Jennifer Nobles from over in Bakersfield, California. Jennifer, great to have you always in on the live stream. Thank you. Mimi, thank you for the hearts and the prayers. Bless you.
Messages of love and loss. One
whatever they did to her.
Back in Pennsylvania, Englehardt's family and friends are in deep shock and grieving, posting on social media messages of love and loss. One writing, "I can't believe I didn't get to say goodbye. Your smile could lift up the saddest person." There's been no official cause of death. The medical examiner has sent away blood samples for analysis. Depending on what's found, the two men in jail could face additional charges. On Miami Beach, Joan Murray.
So that's all we got here from New York City. Now listen, Pennsylvania is a neighboring state of mine, and my heart goes out to the folks in Bucks County. Richboro, Pennsylvania is the hometown where Christine lived with her mom and dad. I just want you guys to know that we need to support our local law enforcement and our detectives and the police that are working this case. We need our criminal justice system to come through and seal the deal for justice for Christine and her family. These perpetrators shouldn't see the light of day. I don't care if they're first-time offenders or if they were good boys up until this point. When you do something like this, where it's a conscious effort to go and alter someone's behavior with a pill, date, rape, drug, whatever you want to call it, whatever they used, that's not cool. And unfortunately, there's sick, twisted people like this out there. So ladies, moms, dads who have children, guys and girls, this doesn't just happen to girls, but the majority do happen to women, but it also could happen to young men, young boys. You never take a drink in a club or a restaurant from a stranger. If someone brings you over a drink other than the waiter or waitress, you don't take it. If a drink came over from that person over there and they say, "Oh, drink," that was back in the day that maybe that was okay. It's not okay anymore. And never, ever, if it possible, never, ever travel alone. Girls, don't even walk home alone. Don't walk home a half a block alone. You know, this is the day and age we live in. And unfortunately, this is the message that we have to put out there. Keep yourself safe. Keep yourself safe. Use your peripheral vision. Use your head. And it's such a sad situation because in 2019, Christine wrote on her Twitter a PSA. She's an avid runner. She would run and jog. She was an avid runner. She was running in a park in Pennsylvania, and some guy spooked her in the parking lot. He called her over to her car, and she called the police. And apparently this guy was doing it to other people. I don't know if he got arrested, but she wrote this whole big, long Twitter piece telling girls to trust their gut instinct and never talk to a stranger and be careful. That was just in 2019, 2 years ago. And look at what happened. So sad. Again, guys, thank you for joining. This is not the end of my coverage on this. I wanted to give you guys an overview and play in the media and giving you guys a basic synopsis of what happened. We will go forward in future videos to break down the potential charges and the potential evidence brought forward. Again, I'm going to have Chief of Staff Barbara Butcher from the New York City Medical Examiner's Office. I'm going to consult with her and ask her about this the blood and the toxicological exam that the medical examiner is conducting or is in the process of conducting. I'm going to talk to homicide detectives who have went and investigated many of these type of situations. No two are the same. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll get all things DutyRon. Go over to DutyRon.com. I'm going to put that up in the chat right now. Subscribe to my channel at DutyRon on YouTube. Go over to DutyRon.com right here. Check out all of the things I have on DutyRon.com. Subscribe to my good friend Joey Brooklyn on YouTube. My good friend Florida Pete at Florida Pete on YouTube. And Dave in Osaka on YouTube. I got to add Donna over at Azul Yoga. I don't have that yet. But everyone that has voted for her, I put a little post in my Discord group and in the Facebook group. Going over and voting is free for Donna. She helps people with yoga and meditation on the beach every morning. She was on the beach in the Bahamas today. She lives in outside of Miami, Boca Raton. She goes live every morning from the beach. So definitely check her out. Donna is a good friend of mine. And I really love and respect her a lot. So guys, good night from New York City. God bless the world. God bless the United States of America. But most importantly, God bless each and every one of us here in this chat and all victims of crime throughout the world, but especially Christine Englehardt, 24 years old, whose life was brutally taken from her March 18th of 2021, just a day after St. Patrick's Day in South Florida. May God give strength to her family and all of us who are suffering from past crime events and listening to current crime events. I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for sharing, and I'll see you on the next live stream. Love and respect from my house to yours. Thank you guys, and good night from New York.